Hey guys, welcome back to the 31 Days of Halloween, where I post a new tutorial every day in October. For today's tutorial, I wanted to do this sexy pirate and half skull pirate. This is actually right after my sexy pirate tutorial, so if you guys want to know how to get the right side of my face, just go ahead and click on the tutorial that I'm going to link somewhere around here. It will be on this sexy pirate part of my face. But for the skull part, I am first taking a white face paint and a really light foundation and mixing them together. I kind of wanted it to be like kind of a bone color and not so stark white. Then I'm just setting that with a translucent powder. Next, I'm outlining my eyes. I'm taking just a light brown eyeshadow and kind of just getting the shape of my eyes going, and then filling them in, but not completely. I want it to be darkest around the edges of the eye and kind of go like ombre into the inner part of my eye. And it's not completely necessary to have the smoky eye that I do in this, but I just kind of like the look of it, so I kept the smoky eye from the pirate tutorial. Now I'm just darkening all the edges up with a black eyeshadow, and then taking that same brown eyeshadow and mapping out the cheek. This kind of is like hard to see at first, because when you're mapping things out, you're kind of just like getting a feel for where everything should be. And as soon as you start shading, things kind of start to pop out and you can kind of see where everything should go. And then I'm just going in with a darker brown to start to darken things up. And I'm making this kind of squiggly line up at the top of my forehead and starting to fill that in as well. Now I am just shading in the inner part of my cheek. And I know that I'm like disappearing into the background. I just wanted to kind of darken things up so that you guys could really see the makeup. So I'm just kind of disappearing into the background, but it's not really about that. Now I'm just outlining my nose, and of course just doing this on half of my nose, and then filling it in. But just like all the other places, I'm going darkest around the edges, and then towards the center I'm keeping it lighter. I kind of feel like it makes it look a little more realistic that way, because I think that if you're looking at a real skull, a little bit of light kind of comes through the skull because it's not completely solid black. Now I'm just taking a darker color on the top of my forehead and filling that part in. Now I'm creating my jawline. This part was actually kind of hard for me, but once you kind of start to shade, you can like see where your jawline would actually be. So I just took a little bit of my white paint and foundation and kind of cleaned things up, and now I'm going back in and shading with a darker brown, and I think mixed with black. And then just filling in the outer part of my face, and I'm using black and brown mixed together. Now for the teeth. This is definitely the part where you want to kind of take the most time. For me, it's the most time consuming. And the teeth here didn't even turn out as perfectly as I wanted them to be, but teeth kind of end up being unique in every way every time you do them, so it's kind of fun that way. And then my camera didn't record, so I already started shading underneath the teeth, so now I'm just going to do what I did on the bottom to the top. I'm just shading on top of each tooth, and I've extended the line from the tooth upwards. And then just taking that shading and pulling it downward. Shading makes the teeth look real, so definitely take your time. Now I'm just using a black eyeshadow and shading around the outside of the teeth. Like I said before, I made them smaller in the back to try and make them look like they curved around my mouth. Not sure how well I did at that, but I like the way they turned out. Now I'm going to do my neck bones. And so I just draw a line down my neck and then draw these little triangles and then start to fill the triangles in. This is a really, really basic kind of easy way to do like the vertebrae on your neck. And then I just take the point of the triangle and pull that over to the side, and it creates that line, and that's where your vertebrae are. And now I'm just taking a black mixed with brown and shading along the sides to really define things. Then I'm just taking that shading and pulling it towards the back of my neck. And you don't want to just go in with just black right here, because everything is so brown black toned. You want to make sure that you have that brown tone in there still too. Now I'm just kind of going along my collarbone and shading there, and then going underneath my collarbone and creating some shading there as well. And here I'm just kind of creating some ribs. These weren't too detailed, they don't have to be perfect. It all depends on your costume too. If you can't even see your chest, then don't bother. Now I'm just going on each vertebrae and going across the vertebrae at the top and then shading downwards. And now I'm going near the ribs and near my collarbone and darkening everything there up too. Now I'm going around each part that I've shaded in and kind of adding these lines, and for me these make it look a little bit more raised. So I kind of add a line going around on either side of the filled in part and then shading outward just a tiny bit. And you want to leave a little bit of space between the filled in part and where you're putting the line, so it will help it look a little bit raised. And that's it, guys. You can add your wig and your headscarf and whatever kind of props you want. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you did like it, and don't forget to subscribe so you can see the rest of the 31 days of Halloween. I will see you tomorrow.